Hey guys, Steph Roberts here. I'm back. I had a pretty emotional last episode, so it's been a while. That was just real. That was raw, talking about where I'm at with my situation.
But if you have resources that you want to share,
Relating to you if you are healing from some form of toxic abuse. And I asked the question, is it really helpful to have this narcissistic validation? And I posed the idea of, well, maybe it's like candy, right? So it might feel good in the moment when we're getting validation from other people, which we all need to know. We get out, we talk to other people who've been through this and they totally get it. And then we end up seeking it out in groups. And what happens sometimes is that it becomes this thing where we're reading memes and all these blog posts, and we're maybe in groups where we're bashing and validating other people's stories and sharing the worst of our stories. And then it becomes such a big part of our identity. And we're always talking about the narcissist. I'm not saying everybody does this, but it's a pretty natural progression. I saw it within myself and I've seen it with many other people. And I just question how healthy that is. I don't think it's healthy at all. And I've seen myself move back a little bit in that direction. So when I first started my podcast, I was like, I don't want that happening in my Facebook group. And I have a Facebook group that's not working because I don't have the energy to like sift through that. I don't have the energy for a lot of things right now. I got a lot on my plate. But again, if you saw the last episode, you understand why. I know that one of the recovery courses that I took or signed up for but didn't finish a while ago, you really had to jump through hoops. This person is an expert. She's all about healing. And in her groups, you cannot do any kind of bashing or retelling of whatever, no one-upsmanship kind of thing. It's just healing. And there's a time and a place to talk about things and release things. But you basically sign a contract and you can't even get into the group unless you sign that contract. So what I want to do is shift everything back to this question of what can help us heal? What can help us get through all the stuff we're feeling and help us really get back to who we are, feeling our best selves, not feeling activated or in fear of all of these things happening because of the programming that we've been through. And so I asked for some recommendations from other people. And I think this episode, I'm going to try to focus mostly on some books that I think are really helpful. So I'm going to just focus on the books. The number one book that came up is the expert. We all love her, Dr. Ramani. And Dr. Ramani does talk a ton about the narcissist on her podcast and on interviews, but she's a smarty pants. She's been through this. She's lived through this type of relationship herself. She has that lived experience, plus dealing with these people in real life as an expert. And so she wrote her book, It's Not You. It's Not You. I don't have the book or I would hold it up, but I do have it on Audible and I haven't even made it all the way through. But I do love that she has intentionally said, this book is not going to be about them. This is going to be about you and healing. Of course, she has to talk a bit about what narcissistic abuse is and why it's so specifically difficult to recover from these types of relationships because other people don't quite understand it. And she gives you a lot of insight as an expert on what you might be feeling after you've left or while you're trying to get out and hopefully find some understanding from other people around you, family, that kind of thing. And then when you are out, like what you can expect from the dynamics of this type of relationship, which there's a lot there. And she does a great job of really diving deep into that. And so that's the top book that came up. The other book that comes up all the time, and this is no surprise to you, I'm sure, is Why Does He Do That? This is the Lundy Bancroft book. And it's Why Does He Do That? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men. Lundy's been on the podcast twice now. Definitely go back, listen to his first interview. We can watch the second one. He is an expert. So he spent a lot of time with these angry, abusive men, working with them. And I think what's really healing specifically about that book is that he's a man. And to hear another man talk about these angry men, what he's observed with his particular, he's just very empathic. He's got amazing insight and wisdom. It's just very healing. This book also, for a lot of people, if you're leaving a relationship or you just got out and you're like, my family doesn't get it, or my coworkers or whoever, they're having a tough time. Like maybe they're telling you over and over again, you should try this or talk to him this way, or did you do that? And these are all basic everyday things that you, of course, thought of, but do not work with this particular personality type. I think this is an awesome book to help people understand family members, fathers, sisters, brothers, whoever, help them get what you're actually dealing with and why these people do what they do. Not that they care why. Sometimes they get frustrated, like, well, why would you do that? You don't have to explain, just give them the book and they don't have to read it front to back. They can thumb through and get the gist of it. I think it's excellent for that. And I do believe that, unfortunately, we do need a book to explain a lot of this stuff. It's pretty complex, and I think the average person who hasn't been through it just doesn't conceive of what it's like and how complicated it is and how the energy of these relentless attacks, the eggshell walking, the gaslighting, all those things, all the terms we hear about, they don't understand like just how significant it is, how nonstop it is, and how it programs you. The other book that I want to recommend is one that I have on my iPhone. I don't have the hardcover, but it does come. It's an actual book. This one's by Lisa Aronson Fontes, and it's called Invisible Chains. Invisible Chains by Lisa Aronson Fontes. And this book I like if you need one book, especially if you're still in a relationship. Be careful, though, obviously, with where you're at and not letting them see that you have it and hiding your device if you have it on Audible. Be careful. Find a book cover. If you have to paste a fake book cover onto a real book to hide your book so they don't create trouble for you. This one, Invisible Chain, starts with kind of what this looks like, and it takes you through. She's a doctor. She understands, psychologist. She understands the whole process, like what you're going through, what they do to you, things you need to think about if you're going to get out, how you might explain this to your loved ones when you get out, how to empower yourself, how to get yourself back. So it's a comprehensive audiobook. It's pretty sobering. It's a serious tone. It's a serious topic, but it just sounds different than Dr. Ramani. Like, she uses humor. And this woman is a little bit more dry, but it's very validating and also very concrete. There are concrete things in there that you need to know about getting out and finances and children and how to heal and how to tell your family. So I really like that. And one of the things she talks about is staying connected. And if you can find even just one person to stay connected to when you're in the middle of this isolation where they intentionally isolate you, it's mentally, if you don't have anybody around you who knows who you are, who can reflect back at you the essence of who you are, the good things about you, it's very easy for you to lose yourself, to lose confidence, and for them to control you more. So if you can have even one person who can be that person to just be with you, spend time with you, they don't have to become an expert, they don't have to solve problems for you, but they can just be your buddy and help you get through it. And obviously you don't want to wear them down. You want to still talk to your therapist, go to support groups, do all the things, but just trying to keep one person in your life, it can make a massive difference in this. Okay, so then this other book you may have heard of, she also has a podcast. This is Terri Cole's book, Boundary Boss. I believe that's also the name of her podcast, but I wanted to talk about her book because she talks about building boundaries, why some of us maybe aren't very good at. She talks about her story, gives excellent, very concrete tips, including wording and phrases that I think we need if we don't have this experience, and encouragement for why to do it. And obviously some people are going to be bumping up against your boundaries and what to do. And this is very common in these relationships. Like, they are going to bombard you, especially when you leave. They're going to try to cross and do all these things. And you need a book like this to help you get through that and navigate it. And she specifically has a section about, what about when this doesn't work? When you're dealing with people who are just completely toxic, controlling people who aren't going to just accept your boundaries. They're actually going to maybe even provoke them, the idea that you would even have the right to have a boundary. So she's acknowledging that this isn't just cookie cutter. Here's how you have boundaries. People are in these very complex relationships, and there's a different approach that's a little more firm, or a lot more firm. And that piece of her book is very validating. She has actual scripts in here, which is awesome. And her YouTube channel, she talks a lot about this. That's another thing. I feel like she's just very realistic. And then the other book, this one is a little bit outside the realm, but this one has really helped me. This one is called Writing to Heal, and it's like a journal book. You can get the book used as well. I suggest getting some sort of other notebook composition book strictly for this type of writing. This is also by James Pennebaker, PhD. This book is to help you heal. You just know you need to deal with your shit yourself. Like you got to get it out. And I've been journaling since I was 12. I think I thought of it as therapy, is very cathartic. What I noticed is my ex-husband, not my children's father, but he was the first person in my life. I didn't journal at all while we were together for 3 years. I didn't want to remember it. I didn't want to record anything. I stopped writing completely. And so I didn't have this thing that was very healing for me in my life. And I think that was a mistake. So I had some other, we'll just call them toxic relationships. I did do some journaling kind of on the sly, but in a different way. This is really great. You need to do this with a pen and paper, pencil and paper. The handwriting piece is really part of the healing. And they've done a lot of studies with this. And what they saw is that people's immunity was strengthened when they were using this process to heal. Their medical health markers, including some aspects of their blood, their white blood cells increased, things like that. Their physiological indicators of stress, like just talking, their hands would stop sweating. Writing about this, your hands, your nervous tension, your face can be really tight and your face would loosen. All of those stressful indicators were reduced. And then psychologically, after you're writing, you're going to feel sad. It's like seeing a sad movie. You're affected for a couple hours afterwards. So give yourself that space, because you're going to be writing about something from your childhood, something from your past, something from an existing relationship that's bothering you. Could be something from a toxic boss, a relative, like who knows what. Like, what's that thing that I'm not dealing with that's like annoying me? I can't sleep at night. It's usually related to a person and way you were treated. Whatever. You can write about it, and you just write and write. Like nobody's ever going to read it. Maybe not even you. And you write until you feel like stopping. You can set a timer. You can do 30 minutes, like whatever feels good to you. Give yourself that time to heal, and then you can do it the next day, or you can skip a day. What they recommend is doing this kind of in several days and then setting it aside. And you give yourself that space afterwards to recover. Allow yourself to cry or whatever. So I wouldn't do this in the morning on your way to work. You're going to be crying and then showing up at work emotional. Maybe not a good choice. So do it maybe after dinner, between bed. Like give yourself some time to feel a little bit sad. And then hopefully by the time you fall asleep, you'll be feeling a little bit lighter, a little happier. People felt like they were able to release the negativity, bitterness, all of that. They had better working memory because your mind's not clogged with all this crap you haven't dealt with. Better work performance. They were easier to talk to and get along with, so it was easier to get along with other people in their home or at work. And they were more socially comfortable, because you know how it is when you've got a lot on your mind or you're going through something. You can be in a crowd and feel totally alone and be like, don't look at me, like I'm dealing with something major here, and you feel like an alien sometimes. But once you deal with this stuff and release it, you really can begin to feel more like you. And that's the whole point of this, is how can we heal, get back to our true selves, and move toward a better version of ourselves, where we release this idea that, yes, we had these people in our lives and maybe they shaped who we were, who we are, but we can start to release it and adopt new, better habits, better ways of framing things. We can release the stuff from the past, so we're not like dragging it along behind us everywhere we go, retelling the same stories over and over again, and really craft a life moving forward that has more joy, has more hope, has more thriving writing, podcasting, podcast guesting, because you're talking and sharing your story, writing, starting a small side thing like a business. All of those things, I think, help you find your voice, help you find your identity, help give you something to believe in that's outside of all the stuff you've been through, and can really motivate you to grow and give you inner strength. People are putting themselves on camera, they're talking, they're sharing stories. I've only been on YouTube for 30 days and it changed my life. Like, they don't care about the number of people watching. It's the catharsis of building confidence, being seen, and telling stories. Like, there's something about this process that is extremely healing. Just talking about your trauma, writing about your trauma, can help you reduce it. And you don't have to specifically write about it on your YouTube channel, or if you're on a podcast. What I'm saying is, find something that you like talking about, or that you're really good at, or that's a hobby even, And then think about sharing it. Like, oh, am I going to make a blog about this? Am I going to make a little ebook? Am I going to go on podcasts or whatever? Just for you, for fun. Maybe you can make money off of it. Maybe you just want to do it to feel good, to have something, and then maybe it'll turn into something later. I just think that process is very healing. And so this channel, I'm going to start focusing on those things. I'm going to start focusing on the healing, the thriving. I've already talked about a lot of it. Maybe I haven't been the best at sewing it all together, but I really believe that we need to find our voice again. We need to stand in our power. We need to reclaim our lives. And I have an ebook that I'm putting together myself because I'm like, you know what? I have all of these resources. I have a little mini course that I haven't ever shared that's about all the things you need to think about when you leave one of these relationships. And I also have had so many friends say to me, like, how are you even up and at 'em and doing this? You showered like you're not in a ball in your bed, given all the crap you've got going on with your kids, with the situation, with finances, like all of it. And that self-care stuff that I've learned, I'm putting into an ebook and I'm going to put it out there. And I am going to put a price tag on it. It's not going to be a big one. And I have another course that I'm going to sell. I'm going to start selling stuff. I haven't really sold anything through my podcast. Talked a little bit about services, but I need the money to survive. And yeah, we have to be worthy of being paid. That's part of this too. And it's a journey. I'll share how it's going with me. I just want to say thank you for all the comments that I got on the last episode. I didn't share it very widely. I will reshare it again. Going to want to go check that out. Last episode is narcissistic validation, right? Is it healthy? There's another one that I did a long time ago, which was about narcissists. Do they really need our help? If we focus too much on them, it's not really helping us. And then I have some other episodes with Lundy Bancroft you want to check out. And I will put links to all of these books and audiobooks, etc., in the show notes. So if you have anything you want to recommend, I would love to hear from you either in the comments. You can reach out to me directly. If you want to leave a review for the podcast, that would really help too. And you can leave your thoughts there. All right. Thanks so much for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.